Hey, what's up? Todd here, and today I want to teach you a technique that I've done for years and years and years, and I didn't ever really know I was doing it until very recently when a couple of my assistants were watching my infield footage and they pointed it out to me. And what I'm doing essentially is when I'm talking to a girl in very subtle ways, but repeated ways, I'm essentially assigning her a gender role within the interaction, okay? So that's the core idea. In order to explain this, I actually want to use a little quote from Shakespeare. It's Lady Macbeth. And she's in the situation where all the men around her are basically acting like women in her mind. They're not being decisive, they're not being assertive, and she's like, in her mind, the only one who knows the right course of action. And so the phrase she says, unsex me here, right? Unsex me here, meaning take away my being a woman, making me a man so I can have like the role and the power to take the right action that I know should be taken, right? So she wants to be in the male role in order to accomplish a certain objective. What I want to do with girls, in a certain sense, is I want to put them in the female role, but I want to put them in a very specific female role. So what I'm doing essentially is if she wanted to be unsexed, I'm sexing the girls, if you will. I'm assigning them the female role, but in a way, I'm unsexying, like making them in the less sexy female role. So think about it as though if I could assign them the role of Jessica Rabbit or the role of Minnie Mouse, I'm assigning them Minnie Mouse. Because the problem is when you make a girl Jessica Rabbit, when you make her, for anyone who doesn't know, by the way, Jessica Rabbit is a really, really hot cartoon character. Okay, so it's the cartoon character that's like the hot, powerful girl. But when you assign someone that role, the Jessica Rabbit role, you are putting her on a pedestal, you're acknowledging her as a sexual object, and you're giving her a lot of power and control in the interaction, especially an interaction that might be going towards sex. When you assign someone Minnie Mouse, which is the silly, cutesy cartoon character that really you couldn't even look at, it has no curves, it's just like straight lines, you couldn't even look at it in a sexual way. In that context, it's the girl's job to prove to you she's sexy. It's the girl's job to earn her sexual power back. And when you set up that role, you're in a much better position overall in terms of controlling the frame, leading the interaction, making sex not seem like a foregone conclusion, making it seem like it just happened, etc. Okay? So what you really want to do, you definitely want to put the girl in the female role and not the male role. You don't want her to be leading, you don't want her to be dominant for the most part, but you also don't want to put her in the sexy role. So you want to sex her, but not sexy her, if you will. All right? So let me give you specific, tangible examples of what this is all about and what I mean by it. So when I'm talking to girls, I'll use the words like adorable. Adorable is a great word because it's a compliment, but it's not like hot or sexy, right? So hot or sexy is saying like, I want to fuck you, you have all the sexual power I'm emotionally reactive to. Adorable is like what you call a little kid or like a puppy, right? It's something that you love and it's endearing to you and you have positive emotions towards it, but it's not something you take super seriously. You wouldn't call your boss adorable. You wouldn't call the President of the United States adorable. You don't call someone with power adorable, but you call someone who you do care about adorable. So it's very positive, it's not negative, it's not demeaning in any way, but it is diminutive, and it is putting them in this role of someone not particularly powerful. So that's one example. Another thing that I'll do with girls a lot of times, I'll say the word aw, like aw, that's so cute, aw, poor thing, that kind of stuff. So again, you would never say aw, poor thing to like the world champion athlete or like to, you know, a mob boss, right? You'd say it to someone who's a little down and out, someone who you want to take under your wing, you want to protect. And when you're adopting, again, this role of leadership, protector, etc., that's a role where the girl is very likely to allow herself to be enveloped by your authority and allow you to take care of her. Another third example would be, a lot of times I'll say, oh, little one, stuff like that, right? So little one, again, it's small, it's cute, it's not a big deal. And these types of roles, especially with girls that are used to having a ton of sexual power, when they're put in this role of not having a ton of sexual power, it's going to do a few things. Number one, it's going to make it look like you have less of an agenda because you're not treating them just as a sexual object. Number two, they're going to feel a little bit out of place or out of their normal sort of element, and a lot of times they will do things to try and win their sexual power back. And the ways that they'll win their sexual power back are things like flirting with you, touching you, trying to get you turned on, those types of things, maybe giving you shit tests occasionally, all those kind of things. And those are all elements that if they're present in the interaction will help you to move things forward and help you move it towards sex. Also, lastly, I said this before, but I do want to reiterate it, is by taking these more cutesy roles for the girl, you're not going to be perceived as having a lot of agenda. It's not perceived as, oh, I just want to fuck you. So it takes a lot of the pressure and a lot of the threat out of the interaction. It makes the girl a lot more apt to just relax, be comfortable, and let things go. All right. So you want to put the girl in the role of her gender. You want to sex her, but you don't want to put her in the high-powered role, so you don't want to sexy her. All right? Take that, use it, add it into your game. It's incredibly powerful.